Hi everyone, you are watching the Writing for Doctoral Series video workshops. This video in particular is about subject-verb agreement, which is something that I'm sure you think as a doctoral student or as a master's degree student you've really got a hold of. This is something that for native speakers we really embed it or we really internalize it as we're learning grammar. So you may hear a child make a subject-verb agreement mistake in his or her speech, but it really works itself out for native speakers. For non-native speakers, hello out there, the subject-verb agreement becomes a little bit more difficult, and especially for verbs that are irregular, like to be is an irregular verb. It can really take a lot of memorizing and studying and thinking about speech. Now, you may think you have it down, but sometimes in writing, and especially at writing at this level, you're writing lengthier sentences with more complex subjects. You're having some subordinate clauses in front of your subject. Sometimes the subject is buried and you're using the wrong word or the wrong verb to describe your subject. So this is a really short video on how to fix some of these problems. So this is when the subject and the subject-verb agreement defined is when the subject and its antecedents are aligned with the verb in terms of number. So here are some faulty subject-verb agreement sentences, and we're going to try to find ways to fix them. When a student arrives on campus, they feel excited and afraid. Sarah and Whitney are friends with who are friends with David is coming to visit. Neither of the sessions were taped. The team spent the day working hard on their project. The data shows that more sleep means better grades. Now, some of you already may be thinking, I know how to fix that sentence, and some of you may be thinking, I have no idea what's wrong with those sentences. So let's take a look at each one. When a student arrives on campus, they feel excited and afraid. So this is probably one of the most commonly made mistakes in writing that I come across as a teacher. So they and a student do not match. They is a word that describes two or more people when we don't know their names or when we want to just refer to them as a group. The reason that we use they is because there's a flaw in the English language. We don't have a gender neutral way to refer to a human. So we could keep it singular and say a student arrives on campus, he feels excited and afraid. Well, 60% of the people on campuses right now across the United States are female, so why would we use he? When a student arrives on campus, she feels excited and afraid. Well, there are still males on the campus. Why would we exclude them? Well, we can't say it because it does not refer to a human. We have no gender neutral pronoun that's acceptable to use with singular antecedents who are humans. So, what we need to do is we can fix this in one of two ways, and what I have done is done the he or she. Now, you may have seen in writing the S/HE to refer to both he and she. That's really not accepted in academic writing. You may see it in a blog or in a discussion board post, but if you're writing formally, you're going to want to use he or she. What you can also do is just pluralize students, or student. So when students arrive on campus, they feel excited and afraid. So you could change either the original subject or its antecedent. Sarah and Whitney, who are friends with David, is coming. This one is pretty obvious to native speakers of English, and this is, I really wanted to include an example like this because if you have a phrase, and this is actually an adjective phrase, who are friends with David, you may have even lengthier phrases in between your subject and your verb. So your subject may have one part, but then it's got things after it that describe it or that elaborate on it a little bit, and then comes in your verb. You may get lost or get mired in what you have actually written. So, and this one, if you look and you eliminate the rest of the sentence except David is coming to visit, well, that one for the most part is fine. But Sarah and Whitney are your true subjects. So Sarah and Whitney, who are friends with David, are coming to visit. Again, this was a pretty straightforward example, but really what I wanted to show you was that sometimes your subject can get buried and you lose the purpose of your verb. So really make sure you're checking what is the true subject of the sentence and what is the verb that I need to use. Neither of the sessions were taped. This is something, I'm sure the sentence sounds great to most people. If I heard it in spoken English, I would think it's fine. But neither is singular. So if you take and neither is negating two singular groups. So and they count it as in English we count it as 1 plus 1, not just 2. So we count it as a singular verb. Or I'm sorry, a singular subject. So really, the truth of the matter is, neither of the sessions was taped. Now, that may sound incorrect to you because you're so used to hearing neither were taped. But the standardized English form that we need to keep to in our writing is neither was taped. The team spent the day working hard on the project. So the team is a singular group, and we even though it's a group of individuals, we treat it as a singular group subject. The team spends the day working hard on a project. So that recognizes the team as a singular noun, and we change the verb to reflect the nature of the subject. The data shows that more sleep means better grades. So now, if you've had certain professors who are real sticklers about this, you'll know that data is a Latinate. It's a Latin cognate of English, which means that we've borrowed it from Latin. And Latin doesn't use S to indicate plural. Latin usually uses A or AE to indicate a plural of a noun. So data are plural, datum is singular. So you're going to want to change this. The data show that more sleep means better grades. Okay, so this has been my quick video on subject-verb agreement. I hope I've given you some great tips. The point is to really find your subject and to really make sure you're counting your subjects and to drop some of those things that we have as native speakers of English that we've developed in our own speech just because English may be flawed in some ways or because non-standard or spoken English tends to be a little bit more relaxed about these things. If you're having trouble with subject-verb agreement, if you want someone else to discuss this with, the Writing Center is a great source for you on campus. They've got online tutoring available. They're on campus in Cherry Hall. They're in the Glasgow region if you're in there. You can, like I said, you can even send in your paper and get some online tutoring, and here's some information on how to get a hold of them. Thank you for watching this video.